percent of change, before we talk about percent, I want to talk about change first. Okay? By the way, can you describe, like a day where you experience some change when you go shopping? As far as, the price change. Well, what does it mean to have a price change?
It's $1 and it's $3.
Let's give you an example.
Chips.
Discount. What else?
Markup.
Clearance.
Okay, well, beside clearance, discount, what else do you actually experience? Yes.
Sale.
I know sales, that means you get a lower price. Tax. Thank you. Tax means what?
More.
You pay more. So discount means you pay less. Tax means you pay more. Markup means you pay more or less.
More.
Yeah, because it's marked up. The price should be higher, right? So when you experience that kind of change, how do you figure out how much you save, for example? Let's say that you walk in there, the price used to be $50, now it's only $30. How much did you save?
$20.
Okay, $20, right? How did you figure that out? Subtraction. So when we want to figure out the change, don't we have to subtract? Okay, so first of all, change associated with difference, and we know that in mathematical terms, the word difference means subtraction. So we know that part. This is not something that's new, right? I hope. Okay, now our thing is we have to figure out what subtract what to find the change. We have two values. There's the old one, and there's a new one, right? Old price, new price. What subtract what to get you the price that you want, the change that you want? Old minus new, or new minus old? We're debating that now.
Old minus new.
How should we do this? Should we take the old price, subtract the new price, or should we take the new price minus the old price? Which one here is actually correct?
Old minus new.
Both. You're right. It's actually both. However, let me tell you, instead of saying both, so when do I use either one? Well, actually, there's only one that you want to use almost all the time. This one right here. Please circle that. You are always going to take new, whatever the new price is, subtract the old price to find out the difference, which is the change. So to find a change, you will take the new price, subtract the old price. Let me give you like an example right now. For instance, I'm buying a jacket. The old price of that jacket used to be $200. Okay? Now the new price of that jacket has gone down to $120. Okay, so you notice that there is a change. What kind of change are you experiencing right now? Is it an increase or a decrease?
Decrease.
Okay, and now in math, we represent decrease by what sign?
Minus.
Negative sign, right? And for an increase, we have a positive. So this is the reason why I want you to use new minus old instead, because of this. Watch. If I take the new value, which is 120, subtract the old value, which is $200, what is it?
Negative 180.
Negative 80.
There you go. Here's the reason why you want to use it. This negative means it's a decrease. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, and likewise, if I have the old price lower than the new price, then my answer will be a positive, which means it's an increase. You see the logic behind it? Okay. Do you know how to find the change now? Given two different prices, old and new.
Yes.
Okay, no question about it, right? And then the next thing is, I want to find out what is the percent of change.
40.
Okay, we need to figure out what is the percent of change. Well, as it turned out, we have a proportion to solve that problem for you. And let me introduce what it is. Whoa. It's getting weird. Oh, look at that.
It's time not to
I know. It's like getting dusty or something, and I can't even erase it efficiently.
Just throw it off the
You
board.
should clean it.
I'll blow it with the blower.
With the blower.
With the what is that? Air compressor?
Oh.
Okay. Moving on. So let's figure this out. What is the percent of change? We know it's a decrease, right? Because it's going down 80. We need to convert. What is that 80 in terms of percent? Well, here's a percent proportion that you need to remember. Whatever the change is, you are compared directly to your old price. And then if I want to convert that back into percent, all I have to do is have the percent, whatever it is I'm trying to find, over 100. This is called the percent proportion equation frame. You're going to be using it if you are trying to find the percent of change. If I ask you to find the percent of change, that's what you're using. Whatever question, whatever I ask, find the percent of change given the old and the new, that's what you're using. The first thing you're going to jump right into is, what is the change? Did I figure out my change already? It's negative 80, right? So I plug it in. Here's negative 80. What is my old price? 200 bucks. Easy. Okay, I'm trying to find the percent, right? So do I know what the percent is yet?
No.
What do you represent for percent?
Variable.
What variable you want?
P.
P. So I'm going to use P for percent over.
100.
Oh, look at that. Now, how do I solve this? By? Okay, so you know the drill. A fraction on each side, we cross multiply. But before we do something like that, can we simplify this side right here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't 80 over 200 simplifiable?
Yes.
Can we cross out at least 1 0?
Yes.
Like that?
Oh, what?
See it? We can make it smaller. If you, let's say you have 2 zeros on top and 2 zeros on the bottom, I can actually cross out 2 0, both 2 zeros
That's crazy.
to make it easier.
No.
You don't know that?
No.
Now you know. So now it's negative 8 over negative 20 equals to P over 100. So check this out. You cross multiply like that. You have,
I remember.
yeah, positive 20P. 20P equals to, what is negative 8 times 100?
Negative 100.
Negative 800 divided by 20 both sides. P, which is percent, right? Equals to, what is negative 800 divided by 20? Watch what happens. Margaret, once again, you cross out the 0. You have negative 80 over 2, which is
40.
negative, right? Negative 40, what? Percent. That means there is a percent of change of what kind? Decreased by how much?
Negative 40.
40%. There. There's a change. 40% change. Decrease because it's a negative. So I just figured out that from 200 all the way down to 120, I just saved 40% because it went down that much. Yes.
Could you cross simplify?
Can you cross simplify? No. Not in this case. We only cross cancel, but not cross divide in a sense. Can you actually cross? No, we don't, because we are cross multiplying. We don't no divide in this case. We can simplify for each fraction though. Okay.
Can we do another column?
Yes, of course. But are we clear on this part yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Watch this next one.
Why don't you just open a new page?
That's okay. I'm just gonna.
That's what Mr. Stefanini used to do.
Oh, lag.
It's okay. It's okay. Delete.
Yeah, you just move it.
Lag.
There. It's good enough. Okay. Here's another problem for you. Let's say that this is a book, an antique. It's really old, and you know how it is with old items, right? After a period of time, it will be
Really valuable.
valuable. Becomes valuable, right? So let's say that back in the 80s, I bought this book for 20 bucks. 20 bucks. And now, this book, so this is the old price. Now I actually ask someone to evaluate this and say, hey, can you tell me what this book's worth nowadays? That person give me a price tag of $250. $250. Okay? So there's a big change. What kind of change are we experiencing here? How do we find that change again?
Markup.
Increase. It's not markup. I make profit, that's all. But how much is it? What's the change? How do I find a change again?
Subtract.
What subtract what?
New over.
Okay, new minus old, so 250 minus 20, which becomes 230. And it's positive, so I know it's an increase. Is that true? Is it true? Okay, let's find a percent of change. I got the change now, so I have to just use my percent proportion equation frame, which is what? We have change over old equals to percent. So I'm going to use P for percent over 100. Let's plug in what I already have. Change is 230. Old price is 20 bucks, right? Is that true?
Yes.
Equals to percent over 100. And over here, I can simplify this by crossing out the 0 because they both share as a 0. So it's 23 over 2 on the left-hand side and P over 100 on the other side. I go ahead and cross multiply. There you go. So what I end up with now is 20P, 20 times P equals to, what's 23 times 100?
2,300.
2,300. Divided by 20 both sides. P equals to, notice I can cross cancel 0 again. What is 2 times, 2 is going to 2 is 1 time, right?
135.
Okay, and then bring down the 3. Another one, right? And 5. Is that correct? 115. Wait, is that correct? What did I do wrong? Did I do something wrong? Oh, look. I canceled the 0, but I put back 0. So it should be a 2 instead of a 220, right?
That's right.
So there it is. Sorry about that. Oh, let's fix it again. Okay. Let's do this again. Sorry. I canceled the 0 already, so technically it's only 23 times 100, which is 2300. And the other side is 2 times p, which is 2p, right? Agreed? Divide by 2. P divided, you get 1 here, so that's 1 again, 5 and 0, right? Is that true? And P stands for percent. So that means the price has gone up to by 1,150%, which makes sense because if you double this every time, that's like 100% increase. 20, 40, 60. You see, every time you increase by 20, that's like 100% increase. That's why it comes out to be 1,150% increase. Okay, yes. Ethan. So you make a lot of profit if you actually sell the book. Yes.
If it's over 2, could you just divide by 2?
Huh?
It's since 2,300 is over 2, could you just divide?
That's what I just did. I did. I divided to get 1,150. Okay? Okay, do you have any question on that one? Elizabeth?
Not Elizabeth.
Esmeralda.
He didn't get it, so I told him.
Ethan, what don't you get about this part?
No, never mind.
Like he didn't get how he got the answer.
I get it now.
Okay,
And then I told him how.
make sure you ask. Don't hesitate. Okay, good. You taking notes?
Oh, he didn't.
Go ahead. Well, okay, fine. You want to listen? It's fine. Make sure you just take notes at home. There. Okay. Here's the next part that I want to introduce to you. That was pretty. Take, all right, take this one right here. Let's bring in an actual scenario where there is a discount and there's also tax. We know that happens all the time when you go to a shopping mall, right? You buy an item because it's discounted, but then again, when you purchase the item, you have to pay for tax as well. So unfortunately, you have to do both. So let's say this. It is a jacket, once again, for, let's make it how much you want to make it.
$100.
$500.
$500 jacket.
$500
$500 jacket. Okay. $500 jacket. Let's pay tax on this thing. Let's say whatever the price is, I pay tax on it.
$20.
Okay. Let's make it simple enough. Let's the tax be
5 cents.
15% tax.
That's not a tax.
Okay? You know our tax rate is 8 point something here in the state.
2.5.
Well, let's just do it for our sake. 15% tax. Are we clear on that part? 15%. So we know that when we add tax to it, we are paying definitely the full price plus what?
Tax.
Which is what?
15%.
15%. Now, I know, in the past, your teacher might have shown you a different way. Fine. But you're missing one class, right? Of course, I have my way too. And this is how you do it. How do you would find the 50%, whatever that is, and add up to 500, and then now we do. Now we'll figure out what the price is. How do you know how to do that? How many of you know how to do this, Mom? Okay, good. Let me show you this way. If you see if you have seen it before. First of all, do you consider this $500 jacket? If you're going to be paying $500, you are paying the full price, which is 100% of the price. We agree on that part? So this $500 is actually 100% of the price. So if you're paying $500, you are paying 100%. Right? And since we have tax, how much of it in percent are you paying?
15%.
Thank you very much. You are actually paying 115% because you have to pay tax as well. Is that true? So we are paying 115% of what price?
500.
Of the 500. And in mathematics, the word of means what operation?
Multiply.
Multiply. There you have it.
That's what we do?
Yeah.
575.
So let's take 500 times 115%.
Do you have to like move the decimal?
We'll take care of that later. Take 500 times 115. Let's see what we have. 0, 0, 25, 0, 0, 5, 0, 0, 5. Is that true? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Look what I did.
That's a lot.
Okay, so 0, 0, 5, 7, 5. So 57,500. Okay,
Decimal.
now Serena asked me, what about the decimal? You're right. This percent right here, if you are to convert it back into a mathematical problem, you have to move the decimal how many places to the left? Twice, 2 places to the left. So you either move it first or move it last. I don't really care. If you don't like to deal with decimal first, then just move it later. So here, let's say I'm done multiplying and I want to take care of the percent. I move 2 places back. This becomes $575. That means after tax, how much am I paying? $575. What is the tax amount? There you go. So you answer every question you need to answer. After tax. So how much are you paying for tax? How much are you paying for tax?
95.
So that means if someone asks you, so what is 50% of that jacket? $75 because you have to pay $75 extra.
Who would pay that much for a jacket?
Sure, why not?
It's not.
I would if it's nice.
Really?
I know.
What if it has like holes?
But I don't have enough money. I don't right now, sorry. But are we clear on that part about the taxing part? So notice that taxing means you have to pay extra. Extra on what? On top of whatever you have to pay. So, do you know where I get the 115% from?
Yeah.
We're good, right?
Are all the problems good that?
If it's a tax problem. That means 100% plus whatever tax percent is. Okay, is that clear? Now what? Yes.
Would it be easier to just multiply the 15% times 500?
Okay, let me ask you this question. He's right. Jose asked, wouldn't it be easier if you multiply the 15% times the 500? Guess what you're gonna
And
get?
then just add it?
$75. Then you have to add it. But look at this one right here. Do you have to add it at the end? It's already there for you. Because I already take it to that into account. I already added beforehand. See it? So either way, Jose, it fines with me. I don't really care. So here's another scenario for you. Oh wait, I should have kept the jacket stuff. At this point in time, still $500 jacket, but because this is at Ross, not at Nordstrom or anything, you know?
Oh my god.
Ross give you a 60% discount on this jacket.
No, but Ross, oh wait, yeah, I'm from Ross.
You know how it is with Ross, right? You buy designer clothes and you still have money left over to buy other things. That's what they advertise on, on TV anyway.
$320.
So yeah, so at Ross you can actually buy this beautiful jacket plus the shoes plus the earrings plus the purse, and you still have money left over to go and use for a taxi, whatever. But now look, I said 60% discount. Let me ask you this question. Discount means off, right?
Yes.
Yes.
If 500 is 100% of the price, and I said I will give you 60% of the price, how much of it are you really paying?
40%.
Oh, you see the difference? Notice that the tax you have to add in, but for the discount you have to take away. So look, instead of paying 100% of the full price, I only pay 40% of the full price. And notice what I said again. I am only paying 40% of the full price. This is OF, not OFF. Off means multiply. What is the full price? 500. And let's multiply. You know there's a shortcut to multiply this to?
Yeah.
5 times 4 is 20. And then I have 3 zeros, so 20 plus 3 more zeros, that's 20,000. And then since I have to move 2 places back, so my final price is
$20.
$200.
I was not too bad.
There. So after 60% discount, you are paying $200. So how much money did you save? $300. So if anyone ever asks you, so what is the 6% equates to? $300 because that's what you saved. Okay.
No, whenever
Are we?
we just subtract 100.
Yeah, but if you do it this way, that means what you see is what you get. That's what you pay, because you already subtracted already. You took care of the part. But those, however, said, okay, I just want to find out how much do I save. Then you have to take 60 instead of doing this, right? If you take 60 times 500, you get $300 back.
Just like end up subtracting at the end.
See, either way it's fine. Look at like Jose's case, he wants to multiply to find what the discount is first and then subtract later. In this case, notice I subtract first and whatever I get is my final price. Okay, so there's my final price, $200. So the third scenario is I have the jacket, same jacket, I put the whole thing together. I have tax and I have discount all in the same problem. So how do you solve for something like that, right? So let's take a look at this one. Here's a $500 jacket once again. The discount still stands at 60%, and I do have tax on top of that at, let's make it 50, okay, yeah, it is 15%, there it is. So, how do I solve a problem like this when I have two things happening all at once? Notice that from the two problems I gave you before, I separate the tax, I separate the discount. But if I have a problem like this where they're all together, how many of you think I'm going to do this? Discount means I subtract. Tax means I take, that's adding. So negative 60 plus 15, that's going to give me negative 45.
No.
How many of you think that means I save 45%? How do you think that's the correct way to do it? No, apparently not. I know you want to find an easy way out, but that's not the right way to do it either. Yes?
You do the discount first and then the tax?
Okay, let me ask you this question. Does it matter if you do the tax first or the discount first?
No.
No.
Yes.
It does not.
Oh,
See? If you go home and try to prove it for yourself, you do the tax first on one column and then the discount, and the other column you do the discount first and the tax, guess what? The two answers will give you the same exact final price. Yeah. Believe it or not, try, go home tonight and try it yourself. Prove it. I know, I'm saying it. You don't believe it. Go ahead. Go back home tonight and do discount. Let's say, you know what? Let's do it right now. We have time. Let's do one case first and you do the other case at home you want to, okay? So let's do the discount first and then the tax. Okay? Yes. So here we go. We already did this, didn't we?
Yeah.
Do I need to explain myself once again or? Okay. For those who want to do the just find a 60% discount, you can do that. Watch. 60% of 500, right?
Wait, listen. Wasn't like we already got the answer for tax, like it's 75, and like we already got the answer for discount.
Can't do that. Can't. Because those are two separate problems. They're not related. But if I put the two into one problem, let me show you why it's so different. Watch what happened. Let's do the discount. That means I'm only paying 40%, right? So 40% of 500, would you figure that out to be? $200. Is that true? Because I already moved. Don't forget, if you see this percent sign, move 2 places back. Okay.
It's 200. Don't just do 200 times 15.
Okay, so this is the price after discount. Is that true? Then we have to continue with this number and not the 500. You see that? That's the main difference. So now, if I'm applying 15% tax, I'm applying to the $200. Wait. Would you want to pay the 50% tax on 500 or 15% tax on the 200?
200.
Why?
Because it's $5 cheaper.
It's cheaper. Yeah. That's your argument too, right? So when you have this kind of situation, you really want to ask whoever salesman or sell whatever it is, did you take the discount the tax out of my new price, discounted, or is it from the original? It could save you a lot too. Okay, so 15%.
That's what I was saying. That's why I said yes.
No, you don't get it. If you work this problem by doing tax first and discount, we'll give you the same answer. But the mid step here, you are still using new value, not the original one. Okay, so 15% tax, that means you are paying a total of 115%. Is that true? You are paying this full discounted price, which is now, originally that's actually, it's 100% now, plus a 15% tax.
Can you just do 200 times 515?
Yes, you can do that. Exactly. You can. If you want to take care of the decimal already, you don't have to move it at the end. You can do that. Okay? And let's do that. So notice what Serena just said. She said to go ahead and convert percent to decimal, so it becomes 1.15. Is that true? So if you want to convert it now. So 200 times 1.15, I have 002, 001, 00031, 2 places over because I have 2 places decimal here. So $130. Wait,
what?
no, that doesn't make sense.
I meant
Did I-
decimal 15, not decimal 1. What? You don't
0.15.
because you put the
You put 1.15. I said you can just do 1. You can just put 1.15.
Wait. I think I messed up something.
You messed up everything.
I did.
1.150.
Two. Oh,
No,
right
you
here.
messed
Sorry,
You
I messed it up right
put the
there.
wrong
Shh.
thing.
This is a 2. There. That's the only part that I messed up. See that? This is 1 times 2 is 2.
No,
I put a
you
1.
did it awful.
Huh?
Can't you just do 200 times?
Doesn't matter.
1.15?
Because you're making it longer.
Oh, you're right, but it doesn't matter.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about anymore.
Okay, there it is.
I told you, pay $230.
There. $230.
Oh, because I added it.
After tax, it's $230.
Oh, it's easier. I have to do less.
What's your way? You can. You can do the 15% first and add it back in. That's fine. Okay.
Hey, are we gonna have
But we clear that part?
Yeah, that's cool.
Wait. Okay. So, like I said, don't pack up. We're not done. Okay. Now Jose made a very good point about, can I just go ahead and find what the 15% tax is first and then add it back in? You can certainly do that. It's not wrong to do that, okay? I'm not saying it's wrong. But let me ask you this question right here. This is one problem that I need to end the day with. Let's say now that the only information I give you is this. Let's say that my new price for this jacket is $200. Let's say that, okay? After a 25% discount. How much was it before? So let's take a look at this scenario for a little bit. I'm paying $200 now after a 25% discount. How do I figure out what was the original price of the jacket? Wait, what was the original price? Is it higher or lower?
Higher.
Higher, because after discount it's $200. How do I figure out what my original price was? Yes?
You could multiply after the discount times the new price and add what you get.
Any idea on that? You can pay attention, guys. You're not gonna be leaving until this problem is
Is that a
solved.
question mark? Old.
Yeah, how much is it? How much was it
I
actually?
can't read your writing, sorry.
Oh, I'm actually stating it out loud right now, Serena. So instead of saying you can't read it, I'm actually reading it to you.
What's the old
Is it
price?
How
250?
much was the old price?
$250.
Knowing that it's $200 now for the new price,
250.
and it's 25% off.
You divide
215.
$250.
How do you get that?
Well, 250.
How do you know? Are you guessing right now?
No. You find him.
Yes.
You find 25% of 200 and then you add.
Wait. Isn't 25% should be from the old price?
Yeah. Yeah, but
Right?
you add it.
That's how you get-
Instead of
isn't-
subtracting it.
After taking 25% from the old price to get 200?
Yeah, but you're supposed to add it instead of
You find
subtracting.
25%, then
But
you
this is-
add it.
So how do you do it?
You add instead of subtract.
So you take 25% of 200 and you add it back in?
Yeah.
Can't do it like that. Won't work that way. So would you like to know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
First of all, you gotta think of this what we did before.
You multiply.
First of all, if it's a 25% discount, how much of go Jayla, go ahead.
You find like some, like the 75%.
Exactly. Thank you very much for taking that approach because I already showed you that part. First of all, if you are taking 25% off, that means you are only paying how much? 75% of what price? Thank you. So you are paying 75% of
200.
the original price. Let's call that W. After paying 75% of the original price, what is the new price now?
The new price.
There you go. And you have yourself an equation.
Oh, we're supposed to make an equation.
There you go. So, 75% converted back to a decimal is what? 0.75? But then you want to convert and solve it as a fraction. What is 25%? 3/4? So 3/4 times W equals to 200. Is that true? How do I solve for W?
Divide 3/4.
What's the better way?
Reciprocal.
Reciprocal. 4/3. 4/3. W now is 800 over 3. Let's divide. What do you have?
I don't know.
You can't divide.
275.
Okay, let's set it up for you since you can't do it.
250.
3 goes into 8 how many times?
Two.
2 times. So that's going to give you 6, right? And what would that give you? A 2, bring down a 2. 3 goes into 20 how many times? 6 times. So that's 18. And bring down 0 again.
66.
So it's repeated, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, just like that forever. So, you move 2 places back, the answer is actually what? $266.66, or rounded off to 367 cents. So that is the original price.
What is it, 67 though?
I'm rounding it off. It's repeated forever. Okay? So, look at that problem carefully, guys, because it will be tested for sure. Just want you to know.